The 2021 MLB Draft has certainly been interesting so far. I'm going to react to the 2021 MLB Draft. Now, obviously, the draft is not over yet. But the 15th pick is happening right now with the Milwaukee Brewers, and their pick is currently in. We've had a lot of big surprises. The biggest surprise might be Khalil Watson falling. And might I say, Khalil Watson might get selected right here. I think Cincinnati would be a good fit here. But let's go ahead and talk about some picks that we already know. And yeah, so Henry Davis was the first overall selection in the 2021 Major League Baseball draft. This is the pick that I said you should watch PLB because I predicted this one. I haven't predicted another one right so far, but I predicted one right, and it was the first overall pick. So Henry Davis is a great catcher, and I said that the fit with Marcelo Meyer wasn't very good with the Pittsburgh Pirates. And going with a catcher like Henry Davis, where there's been, just in the MLB draft alone, a ton of history of catchers going very high in the MLB draft. And this is one that I very much so like this pick. And there's going to be some grades coming out for every pick in the 2021 MLB draft. But I really like this pick. I think that Henry Davis is a very, very good player, and he's probably not going to take too long to get up. He does have a little bit of concerns defensively, but he might arguably be the best hitter and have the best arm in this draft right now. With his second selection, the Texas Rangers selected Jack Leiter, a pitcher out of Vanderbilt. Now, this one was interesting. I knew that Jack Leiter was going to go high. I just didn't know I didn't know that too. I didn't think that the Rangers would be willing to spend that money on him. Here with Jack Leiter, though, did you guys see his press conference? He just looked like he did not want to be a Texas Ranger. And that concerns me. I think that if that's true, then maybe they should have went with Jackson Jobe here. But I think that Jack Leiter is a great pick. He's going to be the ace of that rotation for the future. And he's going to be up really, really quick. The Rangers aren't in a position to be making a pick like this to be competing really soon. But this is still a very, very good pick for the Texas Rangers and a very smart pick. And this is probably one of the most predictable picks in the draft. And that's what you like to see. You want a predictable pick. And Jack Leiter's one that's going to be really good. With the third selection, the Detroit Tigers selected Jackson Jobe, a right-hander out of Heritage Hall High School in Oklahoma. And, wow, this was kind of a surprising one for me. I did expect them to go kind of maybe a little what could be under slot here. I had them going Jordan Lawler in my mock draft, but Jackson Jobe kind of surprised me a little bit. Jackson Jobe is one of the best pitchers in this draft, and he's got that great slider with over 3,000 RPM. Not to mention that he has good other pitches as well to complement that slider. Jackson Jobe is going to be a very, very good pitcher in Major League Baseball. And Jackson Jobe here is a very good pick. Now, it's a risky pick here. It's a very much so risky pick. With him being a prep arm, the only prep arm that's been well, there's a couple other that's been selected at the time of filming this. You've got like Andrew Painter, and you've got Andrew Painter and Frank Mazzucata, who we're going to talk about. But Jackson Jobe, I don't think a lot of people expected him to go 3 here. But as I'm talking here, Sal Frelick, the Milwaukee Brewers at number 15. But Jackson Jobe here, like I said, the slider's what everybody raves about with him. I kind of compare him to one of his future teammates here in Casey Mize. And this is a very good selection. And the Tigers' rotation for the future is scary with Tariq Skubal, with Casey Mize, Jackson Jobe now. And I mean, they've also got they've probably got somebody I'm forgetting about here. Matt Boyd's not going to be a part of that future, but I mean, you've still got Matt Manning in there too, and Joey Wentz. Like, that is a absolutely stacked rotation for the future. And this just solidifies their pitching future. And this is a really, really good pick here. I thought they were going to go with a hitter, but this is a very good pick. With the fourth selection, the Boston Red Sox went with Marcelo Meyer. This might be the biggest steal of the draft. Marcelo Meyer was the number 1 overall prospect, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion in this draft. But he somehow fell to number 4. Now, the fit's not great at all with Marcelo Meyer here, but you have to go with best prospect available in this type scenario, and this is the best prospect available in Marcelo Meyer. It was not about fit. They did not care a bit about the fit with there, because you've got your infield pretty much set for the future with Jeter Downs. You've got Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers, but maybe you don't re-sign one of those. I think that he is going to stay at shortstop there, but he has the arm to be a third baseman. He could be a second baseman too. He could be either one of those. And Marcelo Meyer is a phenomenal pick here at number 4 when he was the consensus for a lot of people number 1 overall pick. At number 5 here, the Baltimore Orioles made one of my not-so-favorite picks. I've talked about how I'm just not a big fan of Colton Cowser in recent videos, but Colton Cowser is who they selected at Sam Houston State with a 5th overall pick. I'm not a big fan. I think that this was definitely to go under slot, but I think there was better picks that you could have went with under slot value. And I think that a player, and on my big board, he was not 18. I think there were way better picks that you could have went with here if you're the Orioles. I think you could have went Jordan Lawler, which would have made some sense. Yes, you've got some good shortstop prospects in your farm system, and that's great, but still. And I still think you could have went Kumar Rocker here. I don't think that Ty Matter or Sam Bachman would have been that much of a reach either, or even an Andrew Painter would have been much of a reach, and you probably could have got them for underslot. I don't particularly like this pick a bit. Next at number 6, the Arizona Diamondbacks had a pretty big steal here, selecting Jordan Lawler out of Dallas Jesus College Prep in Texas, and this is a very good pick here. This makes a ton of sense. They need a shortstop. They're obviously going to be rebuilding. Yes, they have Geraldo Perdomo in their farm system, but still, who cares? You could find a spot if you're getting a guy like Jordan Lawler, who could have been the number 1 overall pick, and I don't think we would have questioned that much. You get him at the number 6 pick. That's good value. That's very good value here. And the Marlins are selecting right now, but yeah, this is a good pick here. Very good pick. Now I'm gonna go even more probably in depth in the grading the first round picks video. So yeah. Next up at number 7. Here, the Royals made the biggest surprise of the draft, in my opinion. Frank Mozzicato out of East Catholic High School in Connecticut. This is a prep arm, taking him very high when he was a second-round talent. This is just not a good pick. It's very simple. This is not a pick that should have happened. There were a lot better arms to go with here. Kumar Rocker was there. Ty Madden was there. Sam Bachman was there. Even Andrew Painter was there. There were a lot better arms to go with than Frank Mozzicato. And I know that they were probably pretty high on Frank Mozzicato, definitely going into this draft. But you could have got him in the second round instead of the first round. This guy could have literally been there in the second round. I don't think that a team would have took him nearly that high. Like, I think he would still be on the board right now when I'm talking right now when the Miami Marlins are selecting. And I just don't see why you would select him here. I understand that he's a good arm, and he had a great season at East Catholic High School in Connecticut. But still, at number 8, the Rockies went with Benny Montgomery out of Redland High School in Pennsylvania. This is a pick that I'm not loving either. Benny Montgomery is a good player. His swing, it just doesn't. It's not right. But I can understand why you would go outfield here. You went outfield last year with Zach Bean. So you're trying to really solidify your outfield for the future with Zach Bean, with Benny Montgomery now. It makes sense. It makes sense. As I'm talking right now, the Miami Marlins have selected Khalil Watson. Let's just go ahead and talk about that pick. 16th pick. The Reds, man, if you're a Reds fan, you have to be a little sad here because they could have got Khalil Watson with the next pick, and they need a shortstop for the future. Khalil Watson could have been that guy. Now, I think with him falling this much in the draft, he's definitely headed to North Carolina State and going to college. I think if he went top 5, that he probably would have stayed with the team. But I don't think he is. I think he is going straight to he's going straight to NC State. I don't see him going to Major League Baseball. I don't. I think that he could be a higher pick in a couple of years. I think probably it would be in 2025-ish. But he's still going to be a high pick no matter what. But yeah, I love this pick. If the Marlins actually sign him, phenomenal pick here. Phenomenal pick to get Khalil Watson. But I doubt it's going to happen. And Khalil Watson, that's a great pick. I just don't think it's going to happen. So let's go ahead and talk about number 9, where the Angels selected Sam Bachman out of Miami University in Ohio. This is an interesting pick, but a A pick that a lot of people, I'm sure, are not a big fan of, considering that Coomer Rocker was still on the board. But I can understand why you would like Sam Bachman a lot. I see some comparisons to Jacob deGrom. I think that you could compare him to Jacob deGrom. He has great stuff. He can throw 101 miles per hour, but he does not have the same pitches that deGrom has. deGrom has like 5 or 6 pitches, and compared to Sam Bachman here, he does not have that. He only has 2 pitches right now, which if he does not develop a third pitch, he's not going to have a good major league career. And I think that this was a risk here. I think that 2 pitches maybe can work in single A ball, maybe even single A advanced ball. But he doesn't really have much of a third pitch. He's got the fastball, he's got the slider, and that's about it. He can throw the changeup, but he doesn't really have a true third pitch. And he needs that true third pitch. You can't just throw a 101 fastball every time. Yes, it's probably going to work in the minors because they simply can't hit that, but it's not going to work in the majors. And the Angels, their draft last year was pretty good with Reed Detmeyers and the players that they got last year, but I don't think that they started off very hot this year. I think that Coomer Rocker was the safer pick and not only the better pick as well. With the 10th selection, the Mets got an absolute steal here, selecting Coomer Rocker out of Vanderbilt. This is a great pick. There's nothing that you can say why it's not a great pick. Coomer Rocker is a very good pick here. Coomer Rocker at number 10 is exceptional value for a guy that could have went in the top 5 and was the consensus number 1 pick coming into this year. Like, we thought he was for sure going to be the number 1 pick. But Rocker could have been selected many spots higher than this. I think that the Royals should have went with him. Next up at number 11, the Washington Nationals went with Brady House out of Winter High School in Georgia. Love this pick. At number 11, yes, he had his hitting concerns, but I think that those hitting concerns are gone, and I think that this is a really good pick. Brady House, I think he's the next Nolan Arenado. I think that he has a ton of potential. He plays great defense like Nolan Arenado, and the bat, he has exceptional power with the bat as well. And Brady House is a great pick here. You've got your shortstop for the future in Trey Turner, especially if he re-signs there. And he's going to be a third baseman. I think that Brady House is definitely going to move to third base. And this is a smart pick by Washington. At number 12, the Mariners selected Harry Ford out of North Cobb High School. This pick, I like the idea, but they did just call up Cal Raleigh, who's their future catcher. I think, though, that they're looking for him to just be like a utility guy where he can, play everywhere. Because Harry Ford has a ton of potential. I don't think that he can just play catcher. I think he's one of these super utility guys that can play everywhere. I think that's kind of what the Mariners drafted him for. And that's why I think that his value is kind of really high in this draft. He's a catcher, but his best tool is running, which you never see in a catcher. This is unlike any other catcher that we've seen before, and that's what's so interesting with Harry Ford. Next up at number 13, the Philadelphia Phillies went with Andrew Painter out of Calvary Christian High School in Florida. This is a good pick here. I like this pick a lot. I think that Andrew Painter is a future 1 through 3 in that rotation, maybe even a number 2 in that rotation, not to mention that you already have Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola locked up for the future there. And this is a good pick. And Zach Eflin there, too. He could be a good number 4, number 5 for the future. And you've got Mick Amell, who they drafted back in 2020. This Phillies team continues drafting very good players. And Andrew Painter at number 13 is not a reach at all. It's a very, very good pick. And a very, very good pick. And I think that the Phillies will be loving this pick in a couple of years. I'm sure they already love it. At number 14, the San Francisco Giants went with Will Bednar out of Mississippi State. I like Will Bednar. I think that he is going to do very, very good. He's already shown clutchness with pitching in the College World Series and winning the College World Series for Mississippi State. And Will Bednar, his stock has went up a ton since that game. And that game's really the reason why he's drafted in the top 15 picks. If he hadn't had that type of a game, he would not be drafted in the top 15 picks. There's no and, if, or buts about that. But this is a good pick here. Makes a lot of sense. For the way that they've been developing pitching as of late, this makes a ton of sense to draft Will Bednar. At number 15, the Milwaukee Brewers went with Sal Frelick. This is 2 straight years of outfielders with their first-round picks. And Sal Frelick is a good pick here. Sal Frelick, what I think could have gone as high as 10 here. if not higher here. I think that it wouldn't have been crazy to see him go at number 5 either. And Sal Frelick's out of Boston College, obviously coming from college, but for this, it's a good pick here. You get him with pretty good value here at number 15. Like, this is not really where he was probably going to go, and this is good value here to getting Sal Frelick at number 15. Sal Frelick is a very, very good hitter. Kind of compares to like a Whit Merrifield-ish type player. Even maybe a Ketel Marte could be even a good comparison. I kind of have that comparison for the number 5 overall pick in Colt Hauser. But he's already had a few years in with Boston College, and this is a good pick. Now, I think it is a risky pick, not knowing how the power is going to develop. The power is the big question here. Who knows how the power is going to develop? But he's still going to be a good hitter regardless. Next, at number 16, the most recent pick. I'm all caught up now. The Miami Marlins selected Khalil Watson out of Wake Forest High School in North Carolina. Like I said, I think he's going to be headed to college here. I don't see a way that he does not head to college with how low of a pick he was. I can't believe that he fell this far. He was number 4, I'm pretty sure, on my big board. Let me look. He was number 5 on my big board, and he fell all the way to 16. Like, I'm not even like just a big Khalil Watson fan. Like, he was number 4 on MLB.com. Like, he really fell a lot in this draft, and I can't understand why. Like, there's a need for shortstops in this draft. Now, I understand how it happened, but I can't. I don't know why the Rockies didn't select him at 8. I really saw the fall coming, especially when they got to like the number 10 pick. I was like, if you know the Phillies or somebody don't select him, or even the Giants, like, he's gonna fall. And he really did fall big time. I did not expect a fall like this from Khalil Watson. He's kind of one of those players that's really the big faller in this draft. I don't really think of this as a pick. Like, it's a phenomenal pick here, but I don't know that you're going to be getting him. Maybe teams already know this, that he's really wants to go to college, and he's going to head to college instead of actually being a draft pick. But he's still, like I said, could go high in whenever that draft is that comes. But yeah, very interesting here that he fell this far. I cannot believe that he fell this far. And it's crazy that he did fall this far. Like, the Miami Marlins get an exceptional pick here. And now that infield is exciting. You've got Khalil Watson and Jazz Chisholm as your shortstop and second baseman for the future. I like that a lot. And this just makes the Marlins farm system better than it already is. It's already a great farm system. You got Luis Diaz, who's going to be your future first baseman. This team is stacked through the farm system. And you talk about last year's draft, Max Meyer, Dax Fulton, you got them last year, and then you follow it up with Khalil Watson. The Marlins have done some great drafting. You may not like the fact that they traded JT Realmuto, Giancarlo Stanton, made an absolute fire sale, and were the jokes of Major League Baseball. But they still have done a great job of drafting players and a great job of developing players, and that's why they are in a great position for the future. With the 17th selection, the Cincinnati Reds selected Matt McClain out of UCLA. I love this pick. This is a great pick. Exceptional value here. They need a shortstop. I definitely understand why they would go shortstop here. This makes a ton of sense. I was talking about how I wanted Khalil Watson to fall to them. But Matt McClain is a hitter. All he does is hit the ball. And he was a 2018 first-round draft pick by Arizona. And he's got a 60 hit, 60 run, 50 field, 50 power, 60 arm. And he can play pretty much just about anywhere on the infield, shortstop, second base, third base. I don't know about third base. He could probably play some center field too if you want him to. Like, he's very versatile, and if he can continue hitting like he is, he's going to be in that lineup every day. He has good defense along with great hitting. That's going to keep you in the lineup every day. And Matt McClain is going to be that player every day that's going to be in your lineup. And this makes a ton of sense here. You get a shortstop for your future. You need a shortstop badly. The Reds do. And Matt McClain falls right in your lap here at number 17 here. Bubba Chandler could have been a pick here if they did not fall. But the shortstops have kind of all fallen in this draft. Like you could say Marcelo Myers fallen, Brady House, Khalil Watson, obviously, Jordan Lawler as well. Like a lot of those shortstops, we were all hyped up about the shortstops. But man, the shortstops have just kind of really went down in this draft. Wow, with the 18th pick, the Cardinals went with Michael McGreevy out of UC Santa Barbara. He's been getting a lot of Shane Bieber comparisons. I wanted him as a Braves fan. I really wanted to see him on the Braves. But when you talk about Michael McGreevy, you've got to talk about his control. He has the best control in the 2021 MLB draft class. And he's got 4 pitches with a curveball, changeup, fastball, and slider. And they're all pretty close to the same grading scale, which is good. And he was really, really good for UC Santa Barbara. And if he could be anywhere close to Shane Bieber, the Cardinals get a pick here. The Cardinals get a very good pick. I did not expect them to select him at number 18. I thought this was for sure going to be Ty Madden. And could Ty Madden fall just 5 more spots, please, to Atlanta? Because if Atlanta does not select him at number 24, there's something wrong with them. I think the Blue Jays or Yankees are going to go with him. Like, Ty Madden is going to go in the next 2 picks or 3 picks, I think. I think he's gone in the next 2 or 3 picks, but maybe not. Ty Madden has fallen a ton in this draft, and he's going to be one of the better picks of the draft. I mean, when we talk about better picks of the draft, we talk about Khalil Watson. Or I do. We talk about Khalil Watson. We talk about Matt McClain. We talk about Kumar Rocker. We talk about Marcelo Meyer. We talk about some of those guys who are some of those best picks in this draft. And definitely, Michael McGreevy, if he could be that, is a very good pick in this draft. And the Cardinals need pitching. This is absolutely where their mind should have been the whole time. And I'm glad they didn't select a Gunnar Hoglund or anything very confusing like that. Jordan Wicks as well is another one who's went down in this draft. And Jordan Wicks, MLB Pipeline, their picture of Jordan Wicks does not even look close. I don't know what's up with that. But here, Jordan Wicks and Anthony Salamato and Bubba Chandler and Ryan Kuskick and Chase Petty and all them, I think there's going to be a bundle of pitching starting with even Gavin Williams. I think that there's going to be a lot of pitching coming up. So we'll go ahead and see what Toronto does at number 19. Next pick at number 19, the Toronto Blue Jays select Gunnar Hoglund out of Ole Miss. Or Mississippi. This is an interesting one because Gunnar Hoglund's he's one of the most interesting ones in this draft. I thought that he could have fell to the second round, and that's not because of his talent. If he was healthy and didn't have to have Tommy John, this guy would be a top 10 pick. But he has to have surgery, and he has to have Tommy John surgery, and that's not good here. The Blue Jays, I don't like this pick a lot. I think that Ty Madden is a much better pick here. Not to mention that Ty Madden's actually going to be healthy and actually can play. And Gunnar Hoglund, he may not even pitch till 2023. Like this pick, you're really not going to get to see the full value of it until possibly as long as 2026 to 2027, which is a far ways away. And the Blue Jays, yes, they have some time to wait. The players are young. Bo Bichette, Vlad Guerrero, all their players are young, but still, it's a better pick to get a Ty Madden or an Anthony Salamato or a Jordan Wicks, who is just a lot less of a risk. And Gunnar Hoglund is the biggest risk in this draft. I understand why you take him in the first round. Like, it makes it a lot of sense. Like, this guy would be a top 10 pick, and we would be considering him and putting him up there with the Jack Leiters and the Kumar Rockers of this draft. But we're not, just because of the Tommy John surgery. And if he can come back like he was from Tommy John surgery, which will not happen, then he is going to be one of the bigger steals of this draft. But I can see why Toronto selects him here. This is a good pick. Not a lovely pick, but it makes sense, but it doesn't. It's a risky pick. A very risky pick. We'll have to see. We'll have to see here. 20, the Yankees are up here. They've got to select Ty Madden or Jordan Wicks, I think, or Anthony Salamato. Like, this is guaranteed a pitcher, in my opinion. Maybe Joe Mack. He's from New York. Maybe. The Yankees have just selected Trey Sweeney, a shortstop out of Eastern Illinois. Man, I'm surprised with this one. with all the good pitching on the board with Ty Madden and Jordan Wicks and Anthony Salamacho, there must be some real concerns with these pitchers in this draft. I knew that there are some concerns with Ty Madden, but how is he falling this far? And the Yankees not selecting him here is just a mistake. Trey Sweeney, this is a reach here. Number 20 is a big reach. I know that he had a good season at Eastern Illinois, but this is a reach. This is definitely a reach here. This is not a first-round talent, I don't think. Trey Sweeney here he had a good year last year at Eastern Illinois, but also that's a smaller college that doesn't play that great of competition. He's at number 55 on MLB Pipeline, and I agree with that. He's not a first-round talent. He's got a 60 hit, which he's very good at hitting. 40 run, 40 field, 50 power, 55 arm, and 50 overall player. But if we look at his stats at Eastern Illinois last year, this is not a very smart pick, especially with all the pitching on the board here. You've got to select a pitcher with all this pitching on the board. Like with the Yankees here, they need pitching, and this is just not a good pick. I know that Gleyber Torres is not doing very well right now, but still, you've got to be better. This is not a good pick. He had 14 home runs, 58 RBIs, and a 382 batting average. Like this guy, if we're going off stats, he should have went top 5 with how high Colton Cowser went, but he's not. And I'm just not a fan of this pick. This is a dumb pick. I hate to say that these picks are just like dumb, but like this is not a smart pick. You need pitching, and you get a golden chance at pitching, and you literally just do not select them. That's not smart. Next up, Chicago, the Cubs. Or next up is both Chicago teams. We'll see what they select. The Cubs are up first, and then the White Sox, and then Cleveland, and then my Braves. Chicago Cubs, they just selected Jordan Wicks, the left-handed pitcher out of Kansas State. This is a phenomenal pick here. Jordan Wicks, I think, could have went in the top 10. And they get him at number 21. It's phenomenal value here to get Jordan Wicks at number 21. Jordan Wicks pitched at Kansas State. This will be Kansas State's first ever first-rounder. But that's not anything discrediting Jordan Wicks here. He's got a 55 fastball, 55 slider, 55 control, good control there, 45 curveball. He's going to have to work on that curveball, but he's still got good other pitches, and a 65 changeup and a 55 overall pitcher. And, wow, this is a good pick here. He, in a shortened 2020 season, 0.52 ERA, he was absolutely lights out. Now, he's not going to blow you away. He's throwing 95 at the highest. He's not going to blow you away. He is a very good left-handed pitcher, and this is a very, very good pick. At number 21 is phenomenal value. If you look at my mock draft, which has been about useless, I have him at 20 in my big board, kind of where he went, so I guess I was right there. But Jordan Wicks, I had him going 14 to San Francisco. Yeah, that didn't happen. They chose Will Bednar instead. I could understand that. There's a lot of players just falling in this draft, and that's going to make the second round even more interesting tomorrow at 1 o'clock. That's what's going to make it even more interesting here. What happens with some of these guys who are falling in the draft, like an Anthony Salamacho, like a Joe Mack, like a Will Taylor, like a Bubba Chandler, who knows where the outfielders are going, Judd Fayman and Joshua Baez. Even a Colson Montgomery, there were rumors he would go to number 10. But there's no way that the Mets are passing up on that. And wow, like people are already we're not talking about the pick anymore. But if you look at this, Jack Leiter, man, did anybody needs to go watch his press conference. I know I've already talked about this, but go watch that press conference, because if you're a Rangers fan, that concerns the heck out of you, because Jack Leiter, he did just not look happy to be a Ranger. It's very simple. Chicago White Sox are on the board next, and their pick is already in, I think. No, it's not. Never mind. The pick was in for the Cubs. White Sox are up next. We'll see what they do. I don't know what they do here. If I was predicting, I'll go with Colson Montgomery, third baseman from Southridge High School in Indiana. That's my prediction. My mock draft's already so wrong. Who even cares about my mock draft? But we'll react to it for a fun, dumb video, because it's a dumb mock draft. But that's the fun of mock drafts. I've only got one pick right so far, in case you're wondering. The first overall pick with Henry Davis. That's the only one I've got right. Hey, my second take was right. I said Colson Montgomery, and I was right about Colson Montgomery. You see I changed hat? The Braves are up at a couple picks. Cleveland, just don't select Ty Madden, and the Braves better select Ty Madden. But minus that, the Chicago White Sox select Colson Montgomery, the shortstop out of Southridge High School in Indiana. This is a good pick here. He was projected late first round. I think I had him going to Los Angeles at number 29. But there's definitely a lot of teams that were really liking Colson Montgomery late in this draft. There were rumors that he could go as high as number 10 in this draft. He's committed to Indiana. I don't know if he's going to – I think he'll probably just go to the Chicago White Sox. But this boosts up their farm system again. I could have saw them going pitching here. But I really do trust the White Sox development system. The White Sox development system has been phenomenal. And it doesn't change any. I mean, you look at all the great players that have been developed through that farm system. I mean, most of the guys there have been homegrown guys, as they call them. Like, you look at some of their recent drafts, and they've really hit on their draft picks. Garrett Crochet's been a good draft pick, and he was just drafted in 2020. Now, Colson Montgomery's not going to be ready as soon as a Garrett Crochet, who was just up as drafted in 2020 and literally came up in 2020, which you never see with draft prospects in Major League Baseball. Now, you're wondering maybe my prediction for number 23 for Cleveland. Cleveland has a knack of pitchers and developing pitchers very, very well. And then Anthony Salamato is the guy that I think they're going to go with here. He's a lefty out of Bishop Estaines High School in New Jersey. I think that this is a pick that definitely could happen here. I think it would make a lot of sense. And with Cleveland's development of pitching, this makes a lot of sense. Next up is Cleveland on the clock. And then it'll be the Braves, then the Athletics. Braves are selecting. Let's see here. Who are they selecting? Rob Manfred's saying right now, Ryan Cusick out of Wake Forest. Ryan Cusick is a pick for the Braves. Gavin Williams was picked for Cleveland. Both good picks, Ryan Cusick. I could see exactly where the Braves love him. I mean, he throws 100 miles per hour. He's got great stuff. I can understand where this comes from. Like, this is not a bit of a reach at all. Like, he's right there, in my opinion, right there as a guy who's probably going to go in this range. It's not a bit of a reach at all. And obviously the fastball is the great thing with him. He was drafted in 2018 in the 40th round. He's got the slider, he's got the curveball, he's got the changeup. His control needs a little bit of help, but still, for Ryan Cusick, this is a good pick. Gavin Williams was the 23rd pick by Cleveland. This is a good pick as well. This guy has very good stuff, Gavin Williams does. 6'6" off the mound. Kind of compares me as maybe a Tyler Glasnow type player. He's got a great fastball hitting 100 at East Carolina, 50 slider, 50 control, 55 curveball, 55 changeup, and a 50 overall player. This guy, I think, is a guy who could be up fairly quickly as well. I don't think it's going to take him a long time. And with the great development of Cleveland, and that this is just a good pick. This is a good pick. For both sides. I understand why Cleveland would do this, and I understand why the Braves would do this. This makes a ton of sense. Ryan Cusick, I love Ty Madden here too, but I'm not very mad about it. Ty Madden's fallen big time though. You've got the A's next. Probably not going to go Ty Madden here. Maybe the Twins do. All right, so now to the 25th pick here. The Oakland Athletics selected Max Muncy out of Thousand Oaks High School in California. He's a shortstop. The A's were looking to go underslot with this pick, and Max Muncy's probably that. He probably would have been a second rounder otherwise. But for Max Muncy here, and it's not the same Max Muncy who plays for the Dodgers, by the way, and they have no relation at all. But for Max Muncy, he's ranked number 38 on MLB Pipeline right now, and he's committed to Arkansas. He's got a 50 hit, 50 run, 50 field, 55 power, 50 arm, and 50 overall. He's a solid player all around. And with the A's development, I trust them to really do something special with him. Next up at number 26, the Twins selected Chase Petty. This is exactly close to where Chase Petty was going to go. He's out of Mainland High School in New Jersey, where he absolutely dominated with a 5-1 record with a 1.14 ERA. There's been great New Jersey pitchers in the past, aka Rick Porcello, who's won a Cy Young. Not been totally great, but still. You've got Jay Groom, who we've yet to see, but is in the Boston Red Sox farm system in high A ball. 70 fastball for him, 50 changeup, 50 overall, 55 slider, and 50 control. Moving right along to the number 27 pick. The San Diego Padres selected Jackson Morrell out of Severin Park High School in Maryland. Another shortstop here. There will be 3 straight shortstops in a row here, which is interesting. But here, if we look at Jackson Morrell is currently ranked 79. So they think he's a second, third round talent. 50 hit, 50 run, 50 field, 45 power, 55 arm, and a 50 overall player. Next up at number 28, the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm surprised they didn't go like an Anthony Salamanto here, but they went with Carson Williams out of Torrey Pines High School in California, shortstop. Carson Williams is right there, borderline first round. If we look here. If we look here, he is borderline first round. He's at 41 on MLB Pipeline right now. And so if we look here, he's got a 50 hit, 50 run, 55 field, 45 power, 65 arm, 50 overall. Understandable why the Rays would go shortstop here. It makes a lot of sense in the later first round. They've got another pick coming at, I think it's number 36. And with the last pick in the first round with the 29th selection, the Los Angeles Dodgers select Maddox Bruns, or whatever his name is. But for Maddox here, the Dodgers can develop pitching very, very well. And this is why this is a good pitch. He's coming out of UMS Wright Prep School in Alabama. And he's a 19-year-old committed to Mississippi State, but it's probably going to go to the draft. He needs help on the control. He's got a 60 fastball, 60 slider, 55 curveball, 55 changeup, 40 control, and 50 overall. This guy needs some help on the control, but besides that, he's a really good pitcher, possibly for the Dodgers with the way they develop pitching. So yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and turn notifications. A lot more draft videos about the first round coming out. So yeah, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications. Thank you for watching, and peace.